I think it's already been a very, very inspiring morning, and talking to Mike, this mood of Australians turning inwards is really a theme I want to pick up as well as explore with all of us. There's a thing called the Australian dream. Most of us associate it with just owning our own house. In fact, it's a little bit more sophisticated. Australia's Scan for the last 20 years have asked a series of questions around the Australian dream. There's about 10 or 15 questions when they ask people what the Australian dream that rate. The first thing, and this might surprise you, the first most important thing 84% of the population name as the most important thing in the Australian dream is to have a happy and successful marriage. It's interesting, isn't it? Far fewer people are marrying, but Australians are still saying that's number one. The second thing is to have happy kids. Family is right at the top of these first two priorities. The third thing is to have a sense of control over my life. The fourth thing is to own my own house. The first three things are relational. They're about knowing who I am, why I matter, who I love, why they're committed to me, who we're responsible for in terms of our kids, and having a sense of control over that. The depressing thing in the last few years of the survey around the Australian dream is the numbers saying those things are becoming more and more difficult. In terms of holding our marriages together, or being married or aspiring to really being loved unconditionally, to having a sense that our kids really are being prevented from toxic environments. One of my little pet hates is how in G-rated family sport, now sports betting has taken over our football codes and our cricket codes. You only have to look at what cricket's and betting's corrupting with Pakistan and the... When did we ever get asked whether our kids should be being told the odds every second moment? When did we ever get asked this? Working with problem gamblers is still part of my work. I have a whole lot of problem gamblers who say my one joy was taking my kid to the footy. Now because the odds come up on the scoreboard, I get the impulse. I can't even go to the footy with my kid, let alone watch it. Well, this toxic environment in a whole lot of areas, and we know as parents, we feel fearful. The drugs are stronger. The sense of late night opening for outlets and access to booze is just so accessible. The sense that we are losing control is really strong. The depressing thing about the Australian dream is Australians are literally saying, I feel I can't control anything nationally. I can't even make a difference locally. I'm just turning inwards. I'm just trying to control the little bit I can have a say over. That is the mood in the nation from this Australia Scan work. Depressing because, as Mike rightly said, when you turn inwards, you actually lose imagination and moral authority and a sense of generosity. If you look at the charitable dollar in the last few years, it's just gone like that. People are not giving like we once gave. Why? Because we are turning inwards. We're saying, I'm fearful. It's out of control. Mums particularly are saying this. You know, I'm trying to answer text messages. I'm doing the ironing. I'm wondering about making the kids' lunches. I'm a working mum now to, you know, pay a mortgage. This is mad. It's out of control. Well, I think we really need to take a step back and seize control. To actually start thinking again of what our sources of power are, our spiritual sources, our moral sources, our family sources. To actually stand against a tide, if the Australia Scan research is right, of this turning inwards, becoming smaller people, narrowing our sense of who we can be, what we can change, how we matter. I think that's really important to name at a time when, despite the challenges, and we have these challenges in our nation, and Mike said it, we are still the most blessed people on earth. Getting perspective is absolutely everything. Perspective of gratitude. I like the way Mike used that word. I think the fundamental faith response of any human, and I use faith in a very general term here, needs to be gratitude. Thank you for this day. Thank you for what I've got. Thank you for how I can celebrate. Thank you for what I can give. Rather than fear that imprisons me. I've got this problem and this worry and this is out of control. Gratitude is a faith response. It's a faith response. It's opening myself up. It's looking up. When if I just look around at all the problems, I get submerged under them. Looking up, taking a breath, saying a prayer of thank you, which is what gratitude is.